Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Kickoff Talk. I'm Jeff Kirik, sports editor of the Erie Times-News. And as always, I'm here with star reporter Tom Reisenweber, who's ready to talk a little District 10 football. We have a little bit of recap to start this week's Kickoff Talk. Tom, what impressed you in last week?
I think two teams really stuck out, Harbour Creek and Maplewood. I think Maplewood, first off, they played really tough. They had Farrell kind of on the ropes a little bit, up 20-13, I believe, in that game. J.D. McFadden, 292 yards, one touchdown. I believe he finished over 6,000 in his career, which is the most in Crawford County history. Jesse McFadden, 8 catches, 204, one touchdown. He's going to be a key player the next 2 years for Maplewood as they come back. Caleb Donor scored 2 touchdowns, but a couple of turnovers in the end were too much for Maplewood. Farrell really dominated the rest of the game.
And the one thing I noticed was Maplewood played a tough game, but they could not stop the run at all. I think that if I recall, the 3 players, Jaden Harrison, Anthony Stallworth, and Ray Raver combined for 475 yards, just those 3.
I think officially 476.
476.
And 5 touchdowns.
You hear it here from Tom Reisenweber, as always.
Anthony Stallworth, 247 and 2 touchdowns. Ray Raver, 127 and 2 touchdowns. And Harrison, 102 and 1 touchdown. Just a strong rushing attack for Farrell. They had a couple nice returns, too. I think they kind of hurt Maplewood in special teams. There'd be punts that were bouncing, and Farrell would just pick it up and take off for 25 yards instead of Maplewood covering it. So just a few mistakes like that. Razor thin, we're kind of nitpicking at that because Maplewood played a great game.
Yeah,
I think they earned a lot of respect.
And let's remember, this is a team that had not allowed an opponent to score since August. So it had been 8 real games and 1 forfeit. They had posted zeros. And then, Maplewood to come out and score 20 points and to have the lead 20-13, actually late third quarter, early fourth, is pretty incredible.
That's the last time Farrell trailed in the game was week 2. They hadn't trailed in any games since then. So that's just amazing, what Maplewood did. They earned a lot of respect for Crawford County. But, of course, the South dominates that win, and then the Harbour Creek loss clinches another Southern-dominated year for small schools. Harbour Creek played well. I think the biggest key in this game was 6-0 Harbour Creek. They're driving again, end of the first quarter. They're getting 6-7 yards a run, and then they throw the ball. And Marcel Smith-Austin, a one-handed interception in the end zone. He returned out to about the 20. A few plays later, Sharon scoring to go up 7-6. That was a huge momentum swing in that game. But Harbour Creek was really running the ball well early on.
And that was one of the play. If you've seen the video, not a poorly thrown ball, just a really good play. If that ball is a foot higher in the air, just a foot, Whitman probably has a touchdown reception.
Yeah, and it's 13-0 all of a sudden. And then Harbour Creek had another drive, and I think it was 4th and 2 inside the 10. And they got stopped there.
They needed to get to the 8, and they got to the 9. I believe.
Yeah, so that's 2 drives right there. It could be, Harbour Creek had 20 points, 21 points, and a huge momentum swing. But Sharon, no panic in them. They've been here before. Exactly. They've been in the D-10 championship game the last couple of years. They've won the last 2. They've been in state semifinals the last couple of years. No panic whatsoever. Lane Wojtek took over in that game, threw for 252 and 2 touchdowns. Casey Smith threw for 117, 2 touchdowns. It was kind of fitting the last touchdown was to Cody Smith one more time this season for the 2 twins. But it was a great effort by Harbour Creek. It's just the South is so strong.
And what a year for Harbour Creek. Undefeated going into that game and really manhandled 90% of their schedule. They have some key seniors, but they also have a lot coming back for next year.
Yeah, including the 2 Smiths. We mentioned those 2. And they have, the thing with Harbour Creek this year that was really nice to see was their depth. They have a lot of, they moved in a lot of guys. They rotated a lot of guys throughout the defense and offense. But it's going to be interesting to see because the parameters came out for next year, and I believe Harbour Creek is going to be 4A next year. So will they be 4A? We've got to see what happens with prep, where they're going to be, because some teams move up to 5A to get rid of them. So they may be going against teams like Oil City and Franklin and Warren next year for D10 title.
What a job Troy Budashevsky did.
Absolutely. These first 2 years taking over, it's always tough, but he's done a great job, especially with the namesake. His dad was a long-time coach at Harbour Creek, and he's done a great job so far.
And I get the feeling that this isn't, a one-off team, that he has a program rolling there again. I mean, obviously, Harbour Creek has a great history, but it feels like it's back to being an annual thing now for them.
And they kind of go against the grain of schools having small rosters with good soccer programs. They have a really good soccer program, too.
That's true.
You have players like Scott Stanyard. He wasn't just the kicker on the football team. He's one of their best players on the soccer team. He was out there, catching passes against Sharon and playing defense. So they have those two sport players that can also help. So that school really has something going with its fall sports.
Yeah. What else caught your eye? Prep, obviously, won 42-6, led 42-0 with over University Prep in Pittsburgh with 5 minutes to go in the first half. So they really flexed their proverbial muscles there.
Yeah, without knowing University Prep, it seemed like they were kind of down a couple touchdowns before the game started. They went up against Farrell and beat them by 2. They beat Sharon by 18, and all of a sudden they can't do anything against Prep. Not that Prep's so much better than Sharon and Farrell. I just think the mentality was different. And Prep with 3 straight defensive touchdowns. Ben Turbeck, 18-yard interception. Jaheim Howard, 90-yard interception. And Luke Sittinger with a touchdown on a fumble recovery. Tamar Sample with 2 touchdown passes. Jalen Carson. Just total dominant effort by Prep all around.
Yeah, and they really showed that they can really do it all. They can strike for anywhere on the field, and they can do it in special teams. They can do it on defense. They can do it on offense. So it'll be interesting to see what road is ahead for the 3-time defending state champions.
This is kind of a dangerous time to play Prep right now too. This is right in there. We're in the playoffs. We're rolling. Yeah. This happened last year.
This is where they started to get on the roll. Where we thought, okay, they're going to get past University Prep. They got past the District 10 title game. Now they're going to start facing a row of tough teams, and instead they just walloped every team they faced last year.
And you look at the last 3 years, this is the time where they play their best football. And I think it's a credit to Mike Mishra the way he coaches. But, Bellefonte, they're not really a pass-heavy team. They run the ball a lot. I think Prep's going to tune them up on Friday, then get ready for that showdown with probably Thomas Jefferson. They're playing Belle Vernon on Friday.
And, of course, Bellefonte edged Clearfield, which avoided the rematch of those two teams, which I don't think there were some very good feelings after the game last year that Prep won handily.
Yeah, so. And and they actually swept Clearfield twice, or played me twice this year. But I think we don't look ahead, but I think we're looking at that showdown with either Thomas Jefferson or Belle Vernon next week. Those two play, I think, at 5 o'clock on Saturday, Heinz Field for the Whitfield title.
Okay. Of course, Prep plays Friday at 7 p.m. versus Bellefonte at Clarion University. The other Friday game is Wilmington versus Chestnut Ridge in Class 2A.
Yeah, it's interesting because last year, I think, they played Wilmington tough. That was the first state playoff game for Coach Brandon Fillion, who's done a great job. I believe his only losses are to state champions so far, so Columbia and Farrell.
I think so.
Throughout his career. So he's done a great job there, just taking over Terry Borelli. That was kind of a mutual thing. Terry Borelli knew there were some good teams coming and wanted to give Brandon a heads up on that. So that's been a really smooth transition at Wilmington. I think they're going to roll this year again. Chestnut Ridge, these District 5 teams are always tough. It's a small district, but they've always played teams tough with their champions.
They played Wilmington tough last year, if I recall.
And it's big getting Ethan Susan back. He scored 3 different ways this past week in a D-10 championship game in Screenville.
3 touchdowns in a row in 3 different ways.
Exactly, rushing 1, punt return, and a catch. Darren Miller, 2 touchdown runs. So Wilmington's playing really well right now, despite the 21-day layoff.
Yeah. Now we're coming up to mid-November, and we actually still have a District 10 title game to play. Is that correct, Tom?
Yeah. Nothing with 6 classes at all. No.
Nothing to do with that.
With the crazy thing
Tom plays everything, including like the plague force. Blames 6 classes.
Well, you'll get the bracket. So Grove City and Sharon play for the D10 3A title, and then the WPIAA champion is going to be crowned this week, 3A. They get to sit a week and wait for another team to play. It's ridiculous to have a bye week in a state playoff, but that's what we have under 6 classes. Thank you.
I agree. Now that's an interesting showdown in that Grove City has had an excellent last 2 years. They had a great year last year, and then Sharon beat them 23-6 in the title game after Grove City beat them during the regular season. This year, Sharon handed Grove City, I believe, their first loss, or had Hickory already played Grove City? I can't recall.
I can't recall, but I know Sharon and Hickory finished for the region title, tied for the region title. But, this all goes back to Sam Mowry, the job he's done. Every time they play a team a second time, they adjust. You look at, they get blown out by Meadville in 5A for the D10 title. Next year, they beat Meadville for the D10 title. Same with, you lose to a team during the season, they beat them in the playoffs. So he's done a great job. Jason McElhaney's done a great job at Sharon for his first year, getting into the D10 championship game. It's not easy when everyone's giving you your best.
And Sharon, of course, is the 2-time defending defending champion. They've had another strong year. Maybe not as a powerful run straight through the regular season, but they're sort of like prep in that when it gets to this time, they start playing their best football.
Absolutely, and Brady Ortiz has been great in the backfield. The receivers have really stepped up as well. So everyone's really playing well for Sharon. Their line is kind of interesting. They gave up some big runs to Harbour Creek throughout the game, so they have to clean that up, or Colby Nelson can kill them.
Yeah. Now, Tom is not making our call picks in this version of Kickoff Talk, but tell us who you like in that game.
I think I'm going to go with Grove City in a very close one, maybe by a field goal or something like that.
Wow. Just
because of the way they're playing right now, they just beat up on Hickory, which really surprised me. Logan Breeze, 210 passing yards and 4 touchdowns last week. Davion Say back and healthy, 5 catches, 116, 2 touchdowns. So the way Grove City's playing, I think they're going to win a very close game. So it should be a lot of fun.
The one thing that's dangerous with Sharon is so much experience on this team. So many championship games played, like a bunch of kids who have been through 2 of the championship games, including their offensive leader, Lane Wojtek, and Ty Elam has had a great year.
Yeah, and you look at, if you had a drive to win a game right now, you'd probably pick Lane Wojtek as your quarterback with the quarterbacks that are remaining, because he's done such a great job. He's got so much experience, so it's going to be a very interesting game on Saturday night.
We have 2 PIAA first-round games involving other District 10 teams on Saturday night. We have Farrell versus Tussey Mountain in Class 1A, and Oil City versus Southern Lehigh in 5A, and those are 1 p.m. games. Yeah,
I think Farrell rolls over Tussey Mountain. They're just playing so well right now. I don't know if it's going to be much of a game. Southern Lehigh, no idea. It's one of those teams that, of course, with 6 classes on the other side of the state, so I don't know why Oil City has to play them.
Playing at Bald Eagle.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But
Tom, no fan of 6 classes.
Yeah, it's also I believe it's the furthest Southern Lehigh's ever been. But they only lost 1 game this year, so they have a really good defense. I think they're allowing like 16 points per game. So Oil City's got to really come and play tough. Back-to-back weeks they win, 9-7.
Yeah.
They had some injuries in that game last week. I believe Noah Petro got hurt and came back in. I believe Holton Stahl, quarterback, got hurt. Obviously they were without Braden Crocker. Noah Petro, 161 on the ground, and a 76-yard touchdown run in the 3rd quarter that really changed that game. So it's going to be tough for Oil City to overcome those injuries. I think that game is more of a toss-up. Maybe Southern Lehigh is the favorite going into it.
Okay, but a heck of a year, still undefeated for Oil City, which is, coming off a year when you lose the record-breaking back, and you do it anyway. You do it again the second time.
And get your first ever PIAA playoff win. They never won a playoff game in the state playoffs. So to be undefeated at this point with all these records they're breaking is pretty impressive for Oil City. I think Lakeview wants Dan York back as head coach. Okay, 6 District 10 teams left, 5 games this weekend. Join us for all the coverage on GoErie.com and Erie Times News, and thanks for joining us on Kickoff Talk.